All right, guys, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for my NXT live review for this week's episode of NXT, the March 14th, 2018 edition of NXT. We are just a few weeks away from not just WrestleMania weekend, but also weekend of NXT TakeOver New Orleans, another NXT TakeOver that's shaping up really well, and I'm really excited for it because a lot of stuff to me is still up in the air, and I'm just dying to see what happens next with so many of these storylines. As NXT continues just to, hit back up to its top strides as it was back in 2015, as it continues to get better again. And as we all know, last year around this time, NXT was still kind of in like a rebuilding stage because of all the guys they lost, well, the men and women's wrestlers they lost in the draft. But on the other hand, they were still did a great job developing the stars, and I still like back on the top, and I'm very intrigued. And this episode as well kept me very intrigued as well for NXT TakeOver New Orleans as well, as I get pretty excited. I thought this was a pretty darn good show. We had two more matches for the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. We had a good confrontation in the women's division. We had a contract signing. We also had another segment involving Tommaso Ciampa that was pretty darn good, and I just cannot wait to get for me to see what happens next with him as well, when he will finally speak and when we'll finally get to that next level of the feud going on between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, the contract signing, as I said before, and we got a very, very fun United Kingdom Championship match between Pete Dunne and Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby! We will definitely talk about that throughout this review as well. Robbie's in the live chat. So, Mike, we got Zelina Vega tonight, but where, oh, where are my Zelina Vega ice cream bars? Well, I mean, you guys say they kind of got squashed or they may have melted or something like that, because Zelina Vega got her ass handed to her tonight as well. We saw a pretty good brawl with her and somebody else that I really, really hope leads to a match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. It's got to happen. It has to happen. It's obvious, Candice LeRae would, well, speaking a little too far. We'll talk about that at the end, of course. And Robbie said, dude, again, Ciampa had me thinking he was just going to snap and attack some Johnny wrestling fans. This guy is unpredictable. It's scary. Exactly, because he is a scary-looking dude. Like literally, I said like a week or two ago, when I saw them update his new profile picture on the WWE app, I like freaked out, like, ooh, like he actually spooked me out. The man literally looks scary, and that's how he's supposed to come across. That's why I keep saying Tommaso Ciampa is probably coming the top heel in the entire company, because it's how great of a job he's doing, both on social media and even, appearing also. He looked pretty good tonight. First time I've seen without the crutch. So hopefully this means Tommaso Ciampa is definitely, recovering very well from that knee injury he had. But let's get right to this review. So we're going to start out with with another first round match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was Sanity, the team of Eric Young and Alexander Wolf, with Killian Dane and Nikki Cross in their corners, taking on a team of Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli, which will be interesting to see how Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli, get along after Riddick Moss walked out on Tino Sabatelli after their last match. So there's obviously some brewing up between them as well. Good match, I thought, very done well. It definitely wasn't as long as some of the other tag matches we've had in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic so far. We haven't had too many so far, actually, but all together. But the story is continuing to focus on what's going to happen with Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli. For the first half of the match, it seemed like they were doing all right, and then things changed when one of them, I can't remember if it was Tino or Riddick, one of the two. Tino held on to Alexander Wolf, but Alexander Wolf got out of the way, and Tino accidentally elbowed Riddick Moss and knocked him back. He said they were able to get back on the same page, though, for a brief while afterwards, though, but it didn't last too long, as Sandy eventually would come up with a win with a double team a suplex neck breaker to Tino Sabatelli. I kind of was hoping, I haven't seen that one finish that Eric Young used to do, that wheelbarrow neck breaker. I mean, this was finished with a suplex into a neck breaker. It was kind of similar, but I like that wheelbarrow neck breaker move that Eric Young did for a while. But yeah, so Sandy gets the win, and they're continuing on in the next round. They'll either take on the Authors of Pain, or maybe the winner of the other tag team match we got tonight, and maybe, or because we do have one more first round match left, we'll probably get that match next week as well. But yeah, a good opening match between Sanity and Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss, but I didn't get to check out any of the Fallout videos, you'll be wondering, what's going on here with Tina Sabatelli and Rick Moss. I definitely didn't expect them to want to split them up already. I mean, I thought it could be too soon. I can't remember if it was my friend Dan Guyza or even Robbie. Somebody suggested one time, what if Rick Moss and Tina Sabatelli were eventually partnered with the Miz, they'd be another like Miz Taraj. And I think with the characters they have, I think they could definitely fill in pretty well for that. Of course, they're not ready for the main roster anytime soon. I don't think Rick Moss, Tina Sabatelli. But I'm surprised to see they're actually going with some angle of them possibly splitting up soon. I just want them to be the next, Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy of the tag team division, because that's one of the only tag teams I've seen them was like, I wasn't really that big of a fan of them, honestly. But yeah, so we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens as some things happen with between Rick Moss and Tina Sabatelli going down the line. So we got that. Robbie says hashtag Johnny Wrestling section. Oh yes, those face emojis are becoming more and more popular this time. They don't have NXT live here in Pittsburgh again. I'll see if I can probably get one of those because of course I have the rebel heart in supporting Johnny Wrestling, as I cannot wait to see when he comes back and finally gets his hands on Tommaso Ciampa, that Sicilian psycho killer. Speaking of which, we had Tommaso Ciampa once again walk out, but this time he didn't have his crutch. He was walking out, on his own 2 feet, walking pretty good. I thought first time I've seen him without his crutch since he's made his return. And he came out to everybody's booing, chanting Johnny, Johnny, and then the Johnny Wrestling chants. And then they also have the face emoji sign for Johnny Gargano. I almost said the name of another guy I actually know in real life. Used to be good friends in high school, named Johnny. But anyways, same thing as last week. Tommaso goes to raise his mic, but the crowd continues to boo him again, similar to what happened with Roman Reigns night after he retired The Undertaker. And Ciampa was yelling back at the crowd, but it's not while he was on the mic. I think he was yelling, "He's gone! He's gone! He's gone!" But I can't be for sure. But we still did not hear him talk on the mic. After a couple times of him trying to talk on the mic, he dropped the microphone and he starts to make his way out of the ring. And he just makes a lap around, the outside of the ring as the crowd continues to hold up the Gargano's emoji logo. And they just heckle him like crazy. And it looks like he's getting close to just, snapping. But then he starts making his way to the stage and we hear the na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. And we also heard Ciampa sucks chants also. So when Tommaso first walked off the stage, I thought, oh, he's going to come back out and run back out and going to at least grab the microphone again or something at least. But he did not. And like Robbie said, he told me this on Twitter also. I'm just dying to see what Tommaso has to say when he finally snaps. We know the reason why he turned on Johnny Gargano, which he explained 2 weeks after TakeOver Chicago last year. It was the whole storyline about him becoming, injured, and he was upset with the crowd just wanting to replace him just like within 24 hours with dream opponents. And after they lost him, he knew that he was going to be going away for a while. He was trying to do the same thing, but I'm pretty sure they're going to add even more onto this story as well. And I'm just dying to see, where this goes next. And as I keep saying, whether this match happens at TakeOver New Orleans or TakeOver Chicago, which I'm starting to think they may leave it for TakeOver Chicago and maybe at least have some type of angle with Johnny getting his job back at TakeOver New Orleans. I mean, that's just what I'm going to predict right now. I haven't seen any spoilers. So I still think they should maybe at least hold out the match till the actual match till TakeOver Chicago. It's just like an angle of some sort of TakeOver New Orleans, because Chicago was where the turn first happened. So I think that's highly possible. But yeah, again, Tommaso Ciampa is just doing awesome. Just literally being a literally scary man. And I literally just cannot wait to see what he does next as we wait and see what happens. And I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Robbie says, "Hey, Mike, as much as I want them, maybe the Zelina Vega ice cream bars came up short." For first time, Aleister Black had a little bit of comedy tonight, and he was definitely cracking me up. But we will get to that segment also. So Ciampa walked out, and then we had the next match based off of what she said about her in a promo last week. Dakota Kai and Lacey Evans. This is the first time we have seen Dakota Kai since she was in her debut match against Shayna Baszler when she was pretty much injured by that nasty looking strike. Ooh, that strike to Dakota's arm that just made me like cringe, like, ooh, my goodness. Like, it really looked, it was a really nasty shot to watch, but very effective for Shayna Baszler, though. But anyways, Dakota Kai had her match against Lacey Evans. It was a short match as Kai beat her with the roll. But what was significant about this was afterwards, Shayna Baszler came out and you know, again, last time we saw Dakota Kai, she got her arm badly injured by Shayna Baszler. And then she pretty much cornered Kai in the corner. That sounds weird to say, corner Kai in the corner, until Ember Moon's music hits. And there's still tension between these two. Like, Shayna can just, you know, just bully everybody and just, you know, put everyone on notice in this division. And she's calling, you know, Ember Moon a coward for calling her out, and she didn't, you know, come out the other week. But then Ember came into the ring, and she just stared down Shayna. She had the mic in her hand. She said, if Shayna really wants to do this again, it doesn't matter if Ember has one arm or two. Baszler started this, and Ember's going to end all this at TakeOver New Orleans. And then a brawl, a nasty but awesome-looking brawl, just bursted out between these two superstars as they beat the living crap out of each other. Shayna did, you know, just hamper the arm a little bit again of Ember, not as bad as it was recently. As she did have Ember in her possession up in the corner after Ember went to hit the Eclipse on her, and it looked like she was about to, you know, hurt Ember's arm once again. So I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen again? Because I really thought that, you know, someone would have their armor again, because, you know, Baszler's done a good job at looking so deadly and making those arm strikes look so real. But then out of the blue, Dakota Kai came back out and kicked Baszler in the back of the head, knocking her down and having Ember Moon. And she put her bat arm behind her and hit the Eclipse on Shayna Baszler with one arm. It was a nice looking segment there, as, you know, we see Ember, you know, with one arm finally get the upper hand and, like, you know, a strong looking Eclipse, because she did hit the Eclipse on Shayna, I think at TakeOver Philadelphia, or in their second match they had a couple weeks after Philadelphia, but it just re-aggravated the arm even more for Ember. But obviously this is setting up for the third match, and it wasn't made official that we're going to get that match at TakeOver New Orleans. I still predict it's going to be a submission match, or at least some type of stipulation. But I thought of this long-term booking scenario, as Robbie also mentioned this on Twitter, shout out to him as well in the live chat, as Dakota Kai is on the verge of becoming the next Bayley in NXT. Here's my prediction for long-term booking. Shayna Baszler is mostly going to win the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver New Orleans. Now, I know it probably would maybe a while. It could be, like, you know, the end of the year. I'd say either at TakeOver LA or TakeOver War Games 2, whatever you want to call it, the pay-per-view in November, and then the TakeOver Arizona. I think next year's Royal Rumble is at Chase Field, home to Diamondbacks in Arizona, or TakeOver Phoenix, whichever one it is. One of those two takeovers. What if it's Dakota Kai to be the one to dethrone Shayna Baszler, with the history that they have, with, you know, Baszler coming in and immediately just, you know, like, you know, injuring Dakota, and if they have like a story building up right now. In a long-term booking scenario, I don't think, you know, Dakota Kai is ready to be an NXT Women's Champion quite yet. I think she needs a little bit more time to continue to build. So by, let's say, the TakeOver Survivor Series, TakeOver War Games 2, TakeOver LA, whatever we're going to call it this year, what if that's when Dakota Kai is the one to dethrone Shayna Baszler? Just a long-term booking scenario, in my opinion. I've planted a couple seeds recently. I mean, I'm not the best with, you know, long-term booking, but the man in our live chat, Robbie One Kenobi, is definitely, as always, endorsed his channel and saying hashtag please sign Robbie. But I think that if anybody, I think, should be built up to be the one to dethrone Shayna Baszler, it should be Dakota Kai, with the story that they're telling right now. Is there anybody in the live chat? Robbie says, I'd love to see the women's championship rematch be a submission match where submissions can count anywhere. Sure. Definitely add like falls count anywhere, but you have to win by a submission. Yes, I'm all for that as well. Good booking as always, Robbie. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. That stipulation, falls count anywhere submission match, and also my long-term planning idea of Dakota Kai being built up as a strong baby face, like a Bayley-like character. And she's the one by the end of the year to take the NXT Women's Championship off Shayna Baszler. Leave your thoughts about that in the comment section or live chat as well. Then we had the second match we had tonight for the first round of the Street Profit not the Street Profits of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was the Street Profits. They're taking on Heavy Machinery. But like at the beginning of the match, he had a little bit of offense. Then Ford was in the corner. He took a sip for his solo cup, and he offers the drink to Otis Dozovic, and he likes it. But then when Montez Ford goes to celebrate their shared interest, it just goes back into the match. Pretty good offense in this match as well. But the Street Profits, who are probably still continue to become one of the more popular tag teams down in NXT right now, came up with the victory, hitting a frog splash from Montez Ford onto Otis Dozovic for the victory. So the Street Profits are going to move on to the next round. We have one more match left. I cannot remember, though, who is in the match for the last match of the first round of Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but we'll find out probably next week, hopefully. And then we had this match, no doubt about it, match of the night. Well, first, when we get to the live chat here, Robbie says Kairi Sane versus Dakota Kai in a number one contenders match for a women's title. Having Dakota win would establish her as the next champ in a major way. Yes, definitely. I like that. And when Montez goes solo, I see him becoming NXT champion. Highly possible, definitely. And Robbie says next week's match is Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. I'm glad they're a tag team. Definitely invest in the tag team versus Mustache Mountain. Okay, so that's the final match we're going to get for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So thank you for confirming with that, Robbie. And definitely having Dakota Kai get a win over Kairi Sane be definitely awesome. And then he thinks Montez Ford is going to be an NXT champion. Sure, I love to see it happen down the line. So good stuff in the live chat there as always. But yeah, let's get into this match. Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, baby, for the Undisputed Championship, the United Kingdom Championship. And they had Undisputed Era members, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly in their corners. I guess this was probably one of the last tapings they had before Bobby Fish suffered the injury he suffered. He suffered a knee injury recently, and rumors have him be out for 7 months. So sometime before then, because Bobby Fish looked pretty good tonight. But anyways, this match was awesome. Started off, smooth, but then it picked up a lot of the physical counters in there. It added in more of the, psychology with the Undisputed Era on the sidelines trying to distract Pete Dunne. But Pete Dunne is just that darn good, and being able to, just physically, this is a very physical match. The movement with the fingers that he'd be snapping the fingers on Adam Cole was sick looking as well. I don't know how that feels for me being in the martial arts for 10 years and whatnot. There was this one move. There's one move. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Let me see here. What is it? Adam Cole did some move where it kind of looked like like a tombstone or something like that, and dropped Pete Dunne on his head. I'm like, oh, that's gotta be it right there. And then there was a couple other spots there as well. It was so close, so physical match. I just thought this was definitely one of the best matches we've seen definitely on NXT all year. Just for the tapings itself, it was just a really strong physical match. These two brought the best out of each other. And then of course, the ending though was supposed to be a clean finish. As Dunne did snap one of Cole's fingers, and he's about to hit the bitter end again, but then Fish and O'Reilly ran to the ring and started attacking Pete Dunne. So Pete Dunne wins by disqualification as the Undisputed Era continue to beat down on him. And then Roderick Strong, who recently last week, Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong, Roderick Strong tried to, exchange signs of respect from the good match they had recently for the United Kingdom Championship. But Pete Dunne like being the heel, he's like, meh, thanks, but whatever. I don't really take it. And then they were confronted by the Undisputed Era. So Roderick Strong continues to have his issues with the Undisputed Era. And Pete Dunne seemingly brewing some stuff up as well with them. Roderick Strong came out, though, to make the save. And at first, he's about to get his rear end handed to him as well. But then Pete Dunne recovers, and they somewhat even the odds. It's still 2-on-3 as they, scare off Undisputed Era. And then Strong goes to offer his hand, but the Bruiserweight doesn't take it, but he slaps Roddy on the shoulder, and he walks out. So there's obviously something going on here. As we know, the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners are going to go on to face the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championship at TakeOver New Orleans. But there's definitely something going on here with Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. I'm sure it's going to lead to another match between them at TakeOver New Orleans, or there's another match down the line in general for the UK title. But we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely, again, interesting stuff. But this match by Dunne and Strong, not Dunne, Strong, Dunne and Cole, awesome. Physical match, just so many great counters. Pete Dunne literally taking Adam Cole. He brought out the best in Adam Cole. Adam Cole was awesome in the match against Aleister Black, but I feel like Pete Dunne brought out even more, he made Cole look even better, even in that match also. Not saying that, this match is better than the Extreme Rules matches. They were both really good matches, but I just really impressed with the physicality in this match and everything. And that's why Pete Dunne continues to be one of my favorites also down in NXT as well. But awesome match for here. And then we had first with there, yes, I botched. Undisputed Era Championship. We botched. Yes, shout out also our good friend Gene, who's now just BS Podcast. Hope you're doing well, buddy. We definitely miss you, and we know you're trying to figure things out right now, buddy. Hope you come back soon. But of course, we botched. It happens. Anyways, last thing we had tonight was the contract signing. As it's made official due to Aleister Black defeating Killian Dane last week. He is going to get a shot at the NXT Championship against NXT champion Andrade Cien Almas 1 year after Aleister Black made his NXT debut, and he defeated Almas in his NXT first NXT match at TakeOver Orlando next year. Which as soon as I saw that entrance, I was just like, this guy's gonna be awesome. I've been all right with the shows at Atlanta Center Stage, but I don't like how he just makes his way, just walk up the stairs through the smoke. I miss him just coming in like that. Was just unique and Aleister. So I hope, I hear they're supposed to be going back to Full Sail soon. So hopefully we'll definitely get that entrance back, because that entrance was definitely badass. But of course, this music is badass enough the way it is. But anyways, we have this contract signing, and Aleister Black makes his entrance, and then Almas's music hits, but only person who comes out is Zelina Vega. She comes out to the ring and says that Almas isn't here tonight, but she is, and if Almas is here, he'd destroy Aleister Black until nothing is left. And then Aleister just moves the table out of the way, hands her the contract. He moves, actually, no, first he stalks the table, he hands Vega the contract, moves out of the way, as he's just not listening to what anything that Zelina Vega is saying. He just paces around a bit, and then he just sits down cross-legged, and he says, "At least we're on the same level." This is the first time we really brought some comedy out of Aleister Black on the mic, which I thought was definitely pretty funny. I definitely thought this was funny. And then she then tells him that he'll reap when he sows, because Andrade is going to humiliate him. And then she signs a contract and just like throws it in the black. And he makes some more jokes about Zelina Vega's height, and saying he's almost worried he might come up short. He won't measure up to my level or whatnot. And then finally, Zelina got sick of him making these jokes that she slapped him across the face. And then as he signs it, he goes to leave, and he stops and he says, "Oh, by the way, Zelina, I'm glad you came alone, because I didn't." And I'm like, what? Who's? And then the music hit. I'm like, of course. She needs to get her comeuppance still on her. Candice LeRae came running out. She ran to the ring, and then Zelina Vega tries to slip away, but Candice LeRae literally just got the upper hand on Vega and just beat the living crap out of her for all the payback, for all the insults and all the bullying Zelina has done to LeRae's husband, Johnny Gargano, who is now out of the job, as I keep saying, and she literally beat the crap out of her by the announce table. Zelina goes in and hit a running bulldog, and then LeRae just got the upper hand on her, and then she literally takes her out and stands over the top of her, just pretty much getting her payback and beating the crap out of her. Guys, I don't know about you. The match needs to happen. We've all seen Zelina Vega last year. How many times really hit a hurricanrana on several wrestlers like Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano. I keep almost saying the name of this one guy I used to be close friends with, but she even tried to take something out. She tried to do a crossbody on Drew McIntyre. Also, this woman Zelina Vega can wrestle, and what are you waiting for? The blood is there between them. Well, not blood. The heat is there between the two of them. At NXT TakeOver New Orleans, they need to have, or even if not TakeOver New Orleans, at some point they have to have a match. Zelina Vega taking on Candice LeRae. It needs to happen. I want to see it happen, and I can't wait for it to happen as well. And make sure they bring those Zelina Vega ice cream bars. Robbie says, Mike, how cool and surreal is it that Aleister Black debuted at TakeOver Orlando last year against Andrade? Now, 1 year later, they rematched for the NXT Championship. And imagine in the long way they've come also. Last year, this time, Andrade was, doing all right as a heel, but definitely with the pairing with him and Zelina Vega has taken them up, a lot more than just a notch up further to a really solid NXT champion. I thought this was going to be just a brief little paper run for him as NXT champion. Because I thought, yeah, Almas is good, but I didn't think he was really, a main eventer. But they as I keep saying, especially that match at TakeOver Philadelphia, they have proven to me that Andrade Cien Almas can be a main eventer. And I'm looking forward to seeing this match happen again. And Aleister Black, rightfully deserving, becomes NXT champion because he is just awesome and unreal. And, he continues to get better. This is why I did not vote for him. I voted him for Breakout Star of the Year for the NXT Year Review Awards. I didn't vote for him for Male Competitor of the Year because I did expect more from him. Because honestly, he'll probably get it 2 years in a row, in my opinion. Male Competitor of the Year, I feel. He could be up on the main roster by the end of the year. If not, definitely next year. By Royal Rumble, we will see Aleister Black up on the main roster. Please don't mess him up. And don't put him in the Cruiserweight division. Even though the Cruiserweight division is coming a lot better, I will give it to 205 Live. I still want to see Aleister Black on either Raw or SmackDown by the end of this year or by the Royal Rumble because he is going to be an awesome talent. He's the only NXT talent so far I have a shirt for. Definitely want to get, Undisputed Eras and maybe Johnny Gargano's shirt also. Well, we can't get Tommaso Ciampa's because he's not going to sell his shirts because he claims, we tried to replace him, treat him like an afterthought, so he's not going to let us buy his shirts even though he think it's a great design. You know what? Hats off to him for thinking that way because that's a heel. But guys, that's pretty much it for this live review. Great show tonight from NXT as always. This takeover definitely has potential to be the takeover of the year so far, in my opinion. Philadelphia was really good, but this one could be even better, I feel like, and I cannot wait to see what happens at TakeOver New Orleans. We already have Aleister Black taking on Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship. We have Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Championship. Hoping stipulation. The winners of the tag team divisions are the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is going to take on the Undisputed Era for the tag team titles, and then a couple other matches. Not sure what's going to happen. Maybe Zelina Vega and Candice LeRae. I'm not sure what else is going on because I didn't read any spoilers because I want to be surprised because of how good everything is getting. But whether we have a match or not at TakeOver New Orleans, there needs to be some sort of angle at least involving Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I cannot wait for this pay-per-view. It can't come soon enough. April 7th, 2018. It's going to be an awesome show. So far, WrestleMania is shaped up to be pretty darn good. We're 26 days away from that also. Guys, I'm pumped. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now with NXT TakeOver New Orleans and WrestleMania 34 coming up. And it's going to be awesome. And I cannot wait at all. Let's see here. Robbie says possible triple threat between Dunn, Roddy, and Adam Cole for the UK title. Yeah. With the match that was put on tonight with Dunn and Cole. I mean, Dunn and Strong had a good match as well. Put the three of them in there together. Man, that makes such a great match. I'm not sure though where the UK title's going at this point. I mean, Pete Dunne, is going to eventually have to drop it, and because he does deserve to be up on the main roster, I feel my opinion. But I do kind of hope they do continue to use the UK title as somewhat of a secondary title to NXT, because because Pete Dunne's doing a great job, making it feel prestige, and I feel like if they have that title there still down there as their mid-card champion, then I feel like a lot of other superstars will benefit from even wrestling for that title from the way it is. And Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne's UK title matches to me feel like John Cena's US Open Challenge matches. Well, the UK title matches have been open challenges, but John Cena, they feel like watching John Cena's US Open challenges all over again back from 2015. That title is one of the definitely the most prestigious prizes. I mean, the NXT Championship and all the other titles in NXT have great prestige to it, but that UK title has really given a lot of opportunities to guys like Trent Seven, Wolfgang, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne, Jack Gallagher, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. It's awesome, and I really hope that they definitely keep using that title, to really build stars up in NXT as well. We have Robbie saying, dude, after their main event on 205 Live, I want to see Cedric Alexander and Roderick Strong rematch at either TakeOver Brooklyn 4 or SummerSlam. I have not seen the match. I'm actually going to watch 205 Live right after I do this review, but I definitely look forward to see what happens in that match, because I don't know who won yet or not, but I'll definitely watch that match right after I get off this review. But yes, and of course, both Roderick and Cedric deserve even more than this cruise division. 205 Live is getting better, but again, I keep saying, I hope that Triple H in charge, he'll at least, give other the cruiserweights other opportunities besides just the cruiserweight division. The cruiserweight tag titles could add depth to the show, but now it's becoming just another one of its own brands, which it's fine to make the show feel worthwhile, but I still feel like the wrestlers deserve more than just the cruiserweight title and the cruiserweight tag champions in that division. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But guys, Robbie, thank you again as always for tuning in to this live review as always for NXT. For my grade for this week's show of NXT, it was tough. I was going back and forth between two grades. This was a really strong show. I can think, is this really as good as I feel it was? And I think it was. So that's why I'm going to give this week's episode of NXT an A-. A lot of great storytelling built to a lot of great matches. We get closer and closer to TakeOver New Orleans. We had two really solid matches between the Street Profits and Heavy Machinery, and Sabatelli and Moss against Sanity. We had the stuff with the women's division that was great. The Tommaso Ciampa's promo again. T's promo again was great as well. And then, of course, the contract signing and the beatdown from Candice LeRae on Zelina Vega, and that amazing UK title match was awesome. I love the show. Give it an A-. What are your thoughts on this week's episode of NXT? If you joined this after this after this review goes live, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, sure to click my like and subscribe for more content coming to this channel, and follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And speaking of Twitter, I want to give a quick shout out to Nick, as we all know him as Ultra Shadow 97 on here on YouTube, and I believe on Twitter as well as him, for giving myself, Daniel Gaiza, and Robbie One Kenobi shout outs what's the word I'm looking for? I completely went blank here. Just shout outs and promoting us to someone who's looking for other wrestling channels to watch as well. So I want to give him a shout out. Thank you for doing that as well on Twitter. Before we go off, Robbie has one more thought in the live chat. What if Elias makes his return at Mania team with Strowman and they reluctantly win the Raw tag titles? Strowman and Elias as a tag team. Well, They put in that pretty darn entertaining Symphony of Destruction match. Good work. I mean, I'm not completely sure if I'm for it or against it, but yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I still think, Elias has done a great job on the main roster. And I actually listened to an interview the other day. It was on this channel called It's a Shoot, has different segments of interviews from other wrestlers talking about things. And one of them was Triple H talking about how there are a handful of people who feel that they would work better on the main roster than NXT. And one of the people he actually mentioned was Elias. And while Elias did fine in NXT, it just didn't feel like he was, doing well enough I felt like he was going to be able to do well on the main roster. But he's thrived big time up on the main roster. I don't think he's ready yet to be a world champion. I mean, at least I was hoping by the end of the year he'll be a mid-card champion. I think he can be a strong contender for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I know some people have also suggested maybe Rusev and a few others as well for winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. But I think also Elias be considered one. But yeah, the job he has done up on the main roster is unbelievable, and I gotta give him a lot of the credit. But that's it, guys. I think I'm going to check out here. So that's it for this live review. I already get my plugs in there, for Ultra Shadow 97. Thank you again for endorsing me and Dan and Robbie on Twitter. Again, you can follow me there at DemandEverybody3. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave your thoughts on the comment section after catching this review once it's uploaded. For the rest of this week, well, as I said, I'm going to have a couple meetings the next couple days for work, as you want to brag for a second. All my equipment for my first gig of the year. It was going to be on Saturday, on St. Patty's Day. So I have stuff to get ready for that. So I might not be able to do a special live stream this week, but I'll try to do so if I can. But still expect to see Road to WrestleMania episode 28 uploaded sometime either tomorrow or Friday. I know I mentioned some of them, maybe doing a Jinder Mahal rant video. I'll probably try to do that also. Expect a few other odds and ends, but other than that, I'll be back here live again next week for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, guys, we're 26 days away from WrestleMania 34, 25 days away from NXT Takeover New Orleans. I'm pumped. I'm excited, as I said before. Thank you guys again for tuning in to this live review. And one more comment from Robbie in the live chat says Elias and Braun would be like a new version of Team Hell No. Just imagine if they went after Braun dished out that punishment to Elias. Yeah, pretty much you'll throw like Elias on top of either Sheamus or Cesaro to get the pinfall. Yeah, like a Team Hell No 2.0. I'll take it. Guys, thank you again for tuning in for this live review. Just do everything as I said before. Subscribe, like, follow me on Twitter, and just stay tuned for what's yet to come to this channel. So, guys, I'm checking out. Thank you all for tuning in. And until then, guys, peace out.